Welcome back, everybody, for Train Tuesday. I'm your host, Jim Wiggin, and we've got a little bit different format tonight. We're going to be talking Athearn HO, but we're going to be seeing where the rubber hits the road here tonight and talking about some cool accessories for your layout and for your intermodal stuff. But before we get too far down that trail, let's see who's joining us here tonight. I've got comments going off to my right. And let's see who we got. We got Ibuprofen Dave, Jay Cure, Randall, Eric, Forever DC 302. We have Eugene, Are You a Train Man Too? And going back a little bit, we got Kyle. Welcome, Kyle. Canadian Locomotive Logistics. We have DG Model Works is in the house. MTG Squad, Ronald, Daylight Dave, Robert, Amy, Mike, Bradley, Casey Gilbert, and Jonathan and Randall. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. Like I said, we're going to be talking about some HO scale Athearn accessories for your layout that look great anywhere, whether it be in an industrial scene, whether it be on your roadways and highways, or at the rail yard, and in some cases on your thrall cars. So stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about all of this stuff because, believe it or not, we are you'd never know it by some parts of the country that we're at the end of April because some of us experienced snow yesterday. But yeah, we're at the end of April, which means pre-orders are about due. You have until next Friday, the 29th, on anything that we've talked about so far, as well as what we're going to talk about tonight, to go ahead and get those pre-orders with your preferred dealer. Before we get started, though, let's do one more round of shout-outs. Let's see who else we have joining us tonight. We have Donald and Bradford, Lefties Trains and More, Anthony, Mr. Jack, Thomas, Ian, Dustin, Donald, Kyle, Anthony, Michael, Andrew, Stephen, Brian Stackpole from way up north, Jim Straka, our Conrail fan. We've got Tim Peters, Shannon Hale, Andre, Anthony, and Rick, just to name a few. We got a full house tonight, and that's always good. It's always good to have a bunch of you guys here to see what we've got going on at Athearn. So let's do what we always do. Let's assume the comfortable position in our workshop chairs. Let's put down the hobby knife, grab the beverage of your choice. Let's get started with another Train Tuesday. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about something that your layout needs. And I don't care how big your layout is, how small your layout is. Maybe you don't have a layout. Maybe you have to go to the club. But if you want to add something special to the layout, this is definitely something that's going to work for you. Now, what we've got here, these are the Kenworth tractors and the 45-foot trailers. So these are good for 1980s on up. You don't see the 45s as much as you used to, but they're certainly still out there. And especially for independent truckers, we did something a little bit different this time. We've offered them in some pretty cool colors to allow you to customize. And we posted this black set on Facebook and Instagram this past week and had a lot of good comments on it. And, you know, ironically, if you go over to Circus Hobbies decals, I'm sure you'll find some decals that will work really well for this truck. Now, if you don't know what I'm saying, yes, I'm kind of tiptoeing around legalities and such, but let's just say it's eastbound and down, and you can probably find some great decals for this truck. Now, we're not only including just the trucks in this run, we're also including trailers. The trailers are going to be sold by themselves, as can be seen here, and this black one going to be great for doing your own customization and such. So here's a white one. Same thing. We're going to do a white tractor with a white trailer. And this one's just wide open for your own decals for your own trucking company. And I mean, the cool thing is if you go out there, go outbound and look at the different manufacturing companies that produce decals. There's a bunch of them out there. And if you do a quick search, you're going to find HO scale decals for semis and trailers. So there's just one of the things that you can do. You can make up your own trucking fleet. Maybe there's a trucking fleet that we have never offered with Athearn that you really want. This will give you a chance to actually make those trucks exactly as you like. Something else that you might want to do for you modern guys, these 45 trailers, these 45-foot trailers, they found new life, at least in parts of the Midwest, as billboards. You can see these across the country on the sides of highways being used as billboards for everything from truck stops to tourist traps to little gift shops, whatever you can think of. These have been repurposed as roadside billboards, and it's a cool accessory that you can add to your layout or maybe even a module. So here's one, has a distinct look of Cascade green. It's a green semi with a 45-foot trailer. And again, you could always be you could always have a backstory on this, that it was a former Burlington Northern truck or Kankakee and Beaverville truck. They had a lot of old Burlington Northern trailers at one time. And you can do some really cool patch job on this, or let your imagination run wild. Again, there's decals for all kinds of different trailers and tractors out there. Same thing, we're going to offer every truck that you see, we're selling the tractor and truck set, and then we're also selling the trailers separately. Here's a nice red one. And these, again, these are to reflect, independent truckers, folks that own their own tractor and haul across the country and maybe into Canada, down into Mexico. You can pretty much decal these up any way you want. And if you're really talented, you can even purchase decal paper with some of the software that's available. You can design your own decals. Now this is new for us this time. We haven't done this in the past. It's kind of hard to tell because of the artwork, but these are going to be metallic flake colors. This first one's kind of a blue silver. It was a color that was real common in the mid 1980s. So this would be a great starting point for a custom rig. Again, look for those decal companies that offer decals for HO scale vehicles. And this is a great starting point. With some decals, you can have a really cool custom truck. Hitched up with it, it's custom trailer. And again, we're doing the metallic colors also separately. Now another one that we're doing, this is kind of a purple metallic, probably more of a late 80s, early 90s color, if you remember back that far. And it was pretty common on trucks in the early to mid 90s to see this color. It's going to be a metal flake metallic type color. And again, it's basically a palette for you guys to design whatever you like. We wanted to give some creativity on these, and keep in mind too, this might be a good excuse for a future contest. Maybe we want to see what your custom rigs are going to look like. So there's something to keep in mind. So a couple of things about these trucks before we go on. Where do you use them? Well, perfect. I mean, you can use them in your industry, you can use them in your rail yards, you can use them on the roads, the highways, whatever. Wherever you're going to find a truck in the real world, you can put these on your layout, your module, or even the club layout. They really do help complete a scene, especially if you've got a smaller layout and you want to make it look like a busy, industrious layout. These are a great addition. Add these to your shipping yards, to your trucking yards, maybe even a truck stop if you've got it on your layout. These are really highly detailed trucks. Now, the price that you're seeing on the Athearn website, that is not indicative of the price that you're going to see at your dealer. So talk to your dealer first to see what your price is. But go ahead and pre-order these, because these trucks always go quick. It never fails that I'll forget to pre-order one of these trailers. Doesn't matter what size. And I usually come up short with getting a trailer because they sell out that quick. So they're the perfect addition to any scene, especially if you're doing a layout that has a lot of industry to it. The other thing too is they come with an interior, so you can customize that interior a little bit more if you like. And all the tires are rubber. There's a lot of detail to these trucks, and a lot of fun can be had building up one of these trucks just for your layout. And then you also have the opportunity to have something that's unique that nobody else has. So let's take a little bit of time and go through the comments here, see what kind of questions we have here tonight. I'm going to go back a little bit because while I'm switching screens, I don't always see what you guys are saying. All right, let's see what we got. Any questions? Scott wants to know, without the conspicuous striping. Yes, that is correct. Why? Why would you do that? He's probably wondering, why would you do that? Well, simple, because we wanted to leave these as a blank canvas for you to custom build into whatever you want. So they are almost like a factory direct truck. You're going to add all that, and those stripes that you're looking for, you can find those for different decal manufacturers. They're not going to be, unfortunately, as reflective as the real thing, but they're going to give away the same example. Let's see. Cornell, I think you missed my earlier comment. There is a decal manufacturer that does have something like that. So if you have a chance, watch this video early on. I do talk about it. Does it come with a hat? Well, we were originally going to offer these with a original Stetson hat. Unfortunately, the cost didn't work out. So no, they don't come with a hat, I'm sorry to say. They will not come with decals. Again, these are going to be a blank canvas for you to draw from. And if you have any trouble finding decals, talk to your friends, talk to your dealer. There's a lot of decal companies out there. And just the last few years, there's been some great decal companies pop up. Do a search on Google for HO scale decals, and you'd be surprised. And another thing too, don't forget, under the NMRA, there's a special interest group dedicated just to HO scale vehicles. Check them out as well, because a lot of guys are in that special interest group. And if you've ever seen these guys at prototype meets, they do some incredible models in 1/87 scale. So check those guys out as well. There's plenty of links out there on that subject. Let's see. Chris wants to know, hey, these are cool, but when are you going to make newer present-day semis to go with your 53-foot trailers? We are working on some stuff. We've talked about it in the past. One of the things that we have to work with is we work with the actual manufacturers of these tractors, and that requires licensing. Now, licensing isn't easy. It's not a cut and dry process. There's quite a bit of layers to it, and depending on the manufacturer, depends on how many layers there are to it. It does require a legal team, and so we have to make sure that everything that we're doing is properly done and is acceptable to the full-scale manufacturer. And of course, that also dictates a little bit of the price. So we don't want to put you in a situation where we've got the manufactured truck that you want and the scale you want, but we also want to make sure that it's at a price that you're willing to pay. So we are looking into some options, and once we get you some licensing, it's possible that we can have some newer trucks than these. And it's funny, I'm not reading them because I'm getting a lot of references to the certain truck that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, there's decals out there for that. Let's see what else we've got. That's a good point. Looks like the blue you'd see faded from a moving truck. Yeah, that could be. Never thought about that. You're still looking for some airplanes for my 40-foot flat cars. Stay tuned. Give us a few weeks. Let's see. Harold says, you know, the red one would be good for the CP rail or CN. Yeah, that's possible. Any plans on a Pan Am blue version? Probably not. I could be wrong, but probably not. Let's see. Are you a Train Man too? Says the purple one would look good pulling my Lone Star cattle trailer. Yeah, that probably would. That would fit really nicely. All right, so a lot of good comments on these, and just going through. Tim Peters wants to know, are these metal or plastic? So they are predominantly plastic. They're plastic injection molded. Their axles, of course, are metal, but all of the detailed stuff is plastic. Clear windows, cab interior, all of the little details like the mud flaps, things of that nature, that's plastic. The wheels are rubber, though. Or I'm sorry, the tires are rubber. Okay, looking through here, I see somebody is asking about the price. Now, again, the price that I'm going to give you is not the same price that you're going to get from your dealer. So if you want to know an exact price from your dealer, please contact your dealer. These are based on MSRP or retail prices. The truck with the trailer, they're $64.99. Now, again, that is retail. That is a suggested retail price. Your dealer is going to have a slightly different price than that. If you're looking at just the trailers without the tractors, those are going for a retail price of $34.99 each, and those are sold individually. Scott comes back, he's like, sorry, I wasn't clear. Are you going to be producing those unmarked, completely unmarked? If you look at the purple trailer that we've got here, you can see, in fact, let's go ahead and zoom in on that. We've got those in there. Are we going to be doing any completely without the stripes? Let me check. I don't think we are. I think we at least added those on there. Yeah, all of those are going to have those on there. So my mistake, originally I said they would not. They are on there. I apologize. My screen is pretty small compared to what you're seeing. So, but there's a follow-up answer for you, Scott. They are going to have that on there. All right. So I see some guys out there already get some ideas. Peterbilt tricks when an Optimus Prime version when? Well, there's a lot of licensing involved there. Anytime you've got a vehicle that is a famous vehicle like Optimus Prime or, you know, KIT or a DeLorean or anything like that, not only do you have manufacturing, you know, licensing that you have to go with, but you got to go after film studio licensing, and that's not cheap. So I don't think we'll get to see Optimus Prime in HO scale unless you're really talented with a airbrush and some decals. But unfortunately, we probably won't be offering that. Now, as far as Peterbilt, that's part of the licensing process as well. We'll see what the future holds for us. All right, so a lot of good questions here. A lot of good comments as well. Now, there's some other comments out there, and I realize this may be not your era. This may not be your favorite truck. This may not be your favorite trailer. But kind of try to keep in mind that we try to offer something for every modeler, for every era. We just can't do it all in one month. That would just be impossible. So stay tuned for next month, and maybe we'll have the truck and the trailer or the locomotive or rolling stock you're looking for. You know, I've said it before at shows, and I've said it on Train Tuesdays before. It's kind of like a radio program. The song that's playing right now might not be your favorite, but the one that's coming up next may be. So we try to offer as many different models for many different people. So if we haven't seen your favorite here yet, don't worry. We're probably working on it as we speak. All right, moving on to the next thing. We're kind of the same theme. But these are containers that we're offering this time. And I'm kind of excited about these Canadian Tire 53-foot Jindo containers. Now, I'm going to look in the comments here in a little bit. I've heard of Canadian Tire. I have not had the opportunity to shop at Canadian Tire, but it is basically more than just tires. It is a rather large retail establishment north of the border of the United States, and I'm going to let my friends to the north comment in the comment section if to kind of educate us all as to exactly what it is. I have some, from what I can understand, it's a lot like what we have here in the Midwest of, say, a farm and fleet or a fleet farm, depending on which side of the Midwest you're from. But we're going to offer these Canadian Tire 53-foot containers. They're being available in 2 different packs of 3. So that'll allow you to build up your intermodal fleet rather quickly. We also want to offer these CSX intermodal cars. And this is one that's been requested. You CSX guys have been asking for these for a bit. You hear me say from time to time, any product suggestions you have as far as road names or even a new model, to use the Athearn product suggestions at athearn.com to send those suggestions in. We are reading those, and this is a result of some of those comments that are coming in. We're also offering the Crowley, and again, these are packs of 2. You can get 2 different packs, so you have an even amount. Here you go. Another one you CSX guys are asking for, the bracketed boxcar logo, which was really popular in the, about the mid 2000s or so. This is after CSX had changed their color scheme to a much darker blue and more of a gold than a yellow. And they did this paint scheme. It was popular on everything from rolling stock to locomotives. And this is actually one that, again, we got a lot of requests for this paint scheme. And so we're excited to bring this paint scheme out for you guys. And CSX guys, I know you're going to be happy about these. Now, we've been doing more and more of the roads south of the border, and we've gotten great responses from folks that model south of the border or Mexican railroads, and Ferromex is no different. This is one that we get requests for, and we're happy to introduce these in the 53-foot containers. And I know there's been more than a few of you that have been asking for these. And last but not least, the UPS containers. Certainly see these quite often. And so you guys that are modeling more of the modern age, this is what you're going to want to take note. Now, again, the real simple answer to these is they can be put on intermodal cars, they can be put on trawl cars. But something else, if you pay attention to some of the layout designs that we've seen in the last few years, a lot of guys actually use these as scenic backdrops. Lance Minheim is an example of that. If you look at some of his shelf layouts, he'll quite often use containers as a really cool backdrop. It's a great way to kind of have a view block that's actually natural, especially if you're modeling a port layout. This is the perfect place to use these without having to use a whole intermodal train. Or maybe you've just got an intermodal yard and you want to show that on your layout. So these are great for not just putting on your trawl cars, but for those scenic details as well. All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and take some questions. Got a little bit of time to have some questions. This is your part of the show where you can ask questions about what we've talked about or anything Athearn in general. I'll try to catch them all. Sometimes you guys hit me up at the same time with a lot of questions, so I don't catch them all. I'm not overlooking any questions. It's just they're coming in real quickly. So let's see what we've got here. Christopher's asking, hey, the Amtrak California cars are being announced next week, right? You're going to have to wait and see. I can't give away all the secrets. Let's see what else we've got here. Ian's got an interesting comment here, talking about Canadian Tire. He says, I bought a train set at Canadian Tire back in 1973 with my Christmas money. There you go. So now you can order the Canadian Tire containers, and it's a full circle. That's cool. Miguel is really happy that we're including the Ferromix paint schemes. Yeah, again, we get a lot of requests for that, so we're going to go ahead and make some of that equipment. Let's see what else we've got. Harold is pretty excited about 3 of the offerings. Now remember, you've got until next Friday to pre-order these containers. Dustin says we need Walmart and Amazon Prime containers. That falls under licensing, so we'll have to see what happens in licensing, if that's possible or not. Frederick's really happy about the containers. Rory wants steam era passenger cars. Well, sit tight. Not in this run, but maybe in the coming months we'll have something that you're looking for. All right, what else have we got here? Donald's saying he's seen the Canadian Tire containers on intermodal UP trains. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, the CSX containers are sharp. Mike's has some experience with Canadian Tire. He says, I sell everything there. Canadian Tire is a great place to shop. So yeah, it kind of sounds like our Farm and Fleet or Fleet Farm, depending, like I said, depending on what part of the Midwest you're in. Not in this run. We have offered them in the past, but not in this run. Howard's got an interesting point of view or point to talk about. He says Canadian Tire is selling its 100th anniversary this year. So that'll tell you something. They're also testing 60-foot containers right now. I have seen pictures of that in some of the full-scale railroad magazines. So how many think that would be a cool subject in HO, a 60-foot container? Got time for 1 or 2 more questions. Let's see. Now, I am seeing some concerns regarding navigation on our current website. There has been some concern because the N scale tab has disappeared. Do not worry, we're not getting rid of N scale. I think I said that last week, but I want to reaffirm it to you guys. We're not getting rid of N scale. N scale is still there. We've got some web guys working on our website, updating it since we rebranded earlier this year. So don't worry, we're not getting rid of N scale. Ted's got an interesting broad question. He said, did you ever offer an Athearn model that far exceeded your sales expectations? Oh, yeah. Yep. I would have to say our surf liners. We knew they were going to be popular. And we were even surprised to see just how popular they are. The surf liners are going to be our premium passenger cars. And I can't wait to start showing you some prototype stuff when it becomes available. We're still looking to have those available by midsummer. So I'm hoping maybe by the prototype meet in St. Louis, I might have something. I can't guarantee it. But yeah, that's one. And the AC 4400s, that's another one. We introduced the AC 4400s this past winter. We had a great show with lead developer John talking about the AC 4400s. And it's probably one of our most in-depth models that we've done. And that one far exceeded our expectations as well. Again, we knew it was a popular model. We just didn't know how popular. And so that was a good question. Let's see. Any BN Tiger Stripe SD60s coming, Jim? Not that I know of, not right away. Here's one from Sid, and Sid has reminded me that, yes, we do have this coming up. Is there an Athearn Extra this Friday? Yes, thank you for that reminder, Sid. We do have an Athearn Extra. It is going to be coming to you this Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I've got special guest Tony Cook from Model Railroad News, and somebody you guys probably all know, Janik from Development, is going to be joining us. He's got some great insight on the Athearn Genesis GP9s that we're offering this month. If you have not had a chance to look at the GP9s that we have up on our new announcements this month, you need to take a look at them. We're offering some roads that you guys had highly requested. And so you're going to want to stay tuned for that episode because Janik has got some great detailed background about those locomotives. And as you know, he's a Kodachrome fan. You know, I don't know too many people that aren't a Kodachrome fan, but we're going to talk about those units. We're going to talk about the SD40T-2s. We're going to talk about some other stuff as well as something else I'm going to try that's new. I'm going to have some pictures that you guys have sent to us to showcase what you're working on too. So be sure to tune into that. That's going to be coming this Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Daylight Time. And look for Facebook. Look for other social media outlets. You will see a link and announcement saying when that show is going to be going live. So be on the watch for that. All right. I'm going to end with one last question, and then we're going to call it a night. Bradley wants to know, any chance on bringing out a book about the AC 4400 CWs in detail? What he's probably referencing, if you haven't had a chance to, go to our YouTube channel. And hey, you know what? While you're there, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when new videos drop in there. They drop in every week. But check out the special video that we did on the AC 4400 in detail. John tells us all the research that was involved to do the AC 4400s, and we're joined by special guests Tony Cook of Model Railroad News, as well as Harry Wong from Railroad Model Craftsman. So go ahead and check that out. It's about 2 hours long, but it's really in depth. There's a lot of information in there. Yeah, the conclusion was John should probably write a book on that locomotive because he has become an expert in that with that locomotive. So definitely check that episode out. It's probably, I dare say that's probably going to be one of our most detailed Genesis models to date. All right, and with that, I'm going to let you guys get back to some modeling. It's a great time of year to get some projects done. We are starting to see some more train shows. I want to thank everybody once again for seeing us in Denver a couple of weeks ago. That was a great show. It was great to see you guys. We got to show off the new booth and some new products. The SD70M-2s that we had on display, they are on their way. They will be coming to a hobby shop near you soon. And stay tuned for Friday night. Maybe we'll have some pictures of those, maybe even some video. We'll see. But I want everybody out there to be happy, be healthy, be safe, do some good modeling, and above all, high greens. I'll see you next time.